All right, I think we're live. Yes, we should be live. Let's adjust everything. All right, close out of the Facebook. Phone's over there. All right, welcome everybody. This is my first unboxing video, live stream, whatever you call it. So my wife got me early, I say, birthday present. Birthday's actually tomorrow, but it starts with this. Um, So this is the CanaKit Raspberry Pi 4 Extreme Kit. So it comes with a 128 gigabyte EVO plus micro SD card, premium black case, and the onboard the motherboard has onboard 8 gigs of RAM. So this is a um, brand new kit. Actually, I cut into it so I could open it, so I'd have to bring the scissors up.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Got a follow. Thank you for the follow, Jank. Why is that not? Everything should be above me. There we go. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So let's move the camera a little bit. Time. So inside the box comes with it's a README first. Please ensure you connect the micro HDMI cable to the main port marked HDMI 10 or 0. Um, then we're nearest the USB-C power port. Ensure Pi 4 compatible software is used to be used if you reprogram the micro SD with different software, different card. Do not insert the micro SD card in the board until after the board is fully been assembled in the case. So let's up here. Quick. Shaky webcam. Alright, we've got 2 viewers. Awesome. Welcome to the actual stream, guys. So, we've got a CanaKit Electronics. Dear valued customer, thank you for your purchase. Our goal at CanaKit is to ensure your complete satisfaction. Offers free right to customer service with the purchase of the product. And then this is the header, basically how the header actually. Oh, it's green screen's on. That's why it's showing up like that. All right, so first things first. Is this? Oh, these are heat sinks. Little tiny heat sinks. Um, I configure cancel. Uh, uh, Settings like that. Oh, filters. Haha. There we go. All right, that's a little bit better. So the heat sinks are taped to, at least in the way they did this, sinks are taped to the box where your USB-C power supply kit is. So let's open this up quick. That's a bit of a beast. I mean, for the size of the actual Raspberry Pi itself, let's open this up. So you've got your USB-C power. It is a 100 is a 50 hertz output, 5.1 volts. Okay, so very low power usage. I would assume, I mean, because the board itself is extremely tiny. So, yeah, beard is way off. Okay. All Alright, so let's untwist this real quick. Alright, so that's not too bad of a length because it's going to run up the back side of my desk anyways. So, alright, so we've got this much cable. That's not bad. I've seen less with bigger power supply. So, alright, let me this in real quick. Get underneath my desk here. And it's right there. Maybe this side? Yep. Okay. I should have done this a different way. Hold up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another follow. Thank you, Zombie Buff 95. I'm guessing that's Brittany. Take an educated guess. So let me just run this down real quick. Too many cables. Ah. Bring out my desk a little bit. Yeah. Come on. Run this down. Find.
Oh, yeah.
Yurt? Thank you, Yurt. Hey, how's it going? Pretty good. Yourself? I'm right here. Just trying to get this cable run underneath my desk. Let's back this up just a hair. Okay. So now, power supply go. Oh, okay, I see it. Thought I saw the cat there for a second. You are correct. Nice. Alright, so it's over here. Alright, good. Alright, so one is now plugged in, USB-C power. Okay, so also in this box we have one. I heard a cat or a baby. I heard either. So you have two micro HDMI to HDMI cables. And what's kind of crazy about this is that I'll show you guys in a minute, but Raspberry Pi 4 has two out HDMIs, micro HDMI to regular HDMI that display up to 4K. Dual 4K display on this. I don't have 4K monitors. I have a 4K TV, but I don't have a 4K monitor. So, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So, I'm gonna be utilizing both of these, not for dual screens per se, but for my extra part that I have once I get everything open here. Okay, so I don't want to lose my heat sinks. Let's put these over here. All garbage can go back inside the box. Gert, are you still watching, man? Still here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I also thank you for the follow. I don't usually run my webcam, simply because I don't like looking at myself per se. And I feel that when you're streaming, sometimes it's nice to get the reactions, but like the tone of my voice can really show my emotions, I guess, when I'm playing certain games. Like the other night playing Rocket League, I got super pissed off and I was yelling and I didn't, not yelling, but like getting angry, like, "Ah," a little more exaggerated than that. But uh, simply just trying to keep all the junk together. Um, yeah, so that's why I don't run a webcam. I have a nice webcam. I mean, it's a Logitech. I don't even know what it is anymore. It's like 80 bucks 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I mean, it's nothing compared to today's webcams where you've got crystal clear, tiny little cam. I mean, the camera itself's like yay big, so it's not terrible. It has built-in sound and nothing too crazy. It can do 720p. You can hack it or not hack it, but you can force it with third-party programs to go up to 1080p, but it doesn't any justice. So, the like anything basically you get with electronic cables, depending on how cheap they're made, they do have little covers at the end to keep dust and anything out of them. They're not gold plated, and they are specifically CanaKit HDMI cables. So I keep looking over here because this is where I have OBS set up. But you guys are up here because this is where I'm going plugging in the Pi. I get it on. So I looked, and I do actually have an available HDMI port on the back of my curved monitor, which is awesome. It's just a Samsung 27-inch curved monitor. A little pricey when I paid for it. It's like 300 bucks, but that was. See, I've been back. I've been with my current wife for 2 years. So yeah, this monitor is like 2.5 years old. So at the time, eh, it's all sorts of crazy tonight. Good. That's what I get for wearing a face mask all day. I'm hearing a child. It's my youngest I'm hearing. So let me plug this in the back real quick. And here. Alright, available HDMI. Used. Okay, so because I have my graphics card, my monitor is currently plugged into my graphics card. This one, anyways, is using DisplayPort. I believe my other monitor, the one I'm keep going over here looking at, is plugged in through HDMI. Because my video cards, I still have like two extra ports I can use. I have 2 more display ports, I guess I can use. Alright, so this is now plugged into the back of my monitor. Ready to go. My power adapter for the Pi itself is right there. I don't need this cable. This is USB-C. Just straight through USB-C. I think I don't have enough power in my back of my computer to support it, or the cable's busted. So we're just gonna put that over there. What's this? Static Shield bag. It's pre-programmed 128 gigabyte micro SD card. Oh, it's right there. Look at that. I hope you guys can see that. That is tiny. I mean, yeah, it's a micro SD card. It's supposed to be tiny, but look how tiny it is. Sorry, I get excited over small things. Anyways, so you on off power switch. Oh, that's right. So so this is the next thing that came out of the box. This is this bag inside the other bag of bags. All right, so this is the CanaKit on off showing up. Yes. Nah, it ain't gonna focus. So anyways, it's the on-off switch, because if not, your Pi will be on all the time. And nobody likes Pi all the time. Well, okay, everybody likes Pi all the time, but Pi being on all the time would cause it to seriously overheat, which does nobody no good. So we're gonna plug what I have here. This is the plug down underneath for the power adapter, and we're gonna plug it into. Aha. Okay, so it was automatically on. Just lurking at the start of the stream, and it's great. Unfortunately, I have to go eat, but I'm running some tourneys and a TW Octane giveaway on stream in 2 hours. 5 minutes if you want to stream and join. Yeah, possibly. Quite possibly. It's my camera. So yeah. Thank you, Yar. I do appreciate that. So when plugging this in, it was on. So I'm glad it's not. Let's get all the important stuff I need right here. Okay, so guessing I will need these heat sinks. So at the bottom, it's picking it up. So this blue part at the bottom, these I'm guessing are self-stick, so you actually don't need adhesives, which I'm okay with. I'm glad I don't have to have it. So this is the Raspberry Pi 4. It's CanaKits, integrated cooling fan support, integrated camera support, coated with high gloss black finish, full lid for easy access to GPIO connector. Look at this. It's so tiny. I mean, my hands. I have decent sized hands, not the biggest, also not the smallest. But look at this shit. So let's open this up. I don't really want to ruin the box. Oh wow. Okay. I say oh wow, and you guys aren't saying oh wow. So let's slide this bad boy out of the bag. Look at that. It's so cool and shiny. So that's exciting. All right, so we're getting there. I don't need the box, say, not yet anyways, in case it malfunctions or what. And this is what's running it all. This is the actual Pi 4. So let's move my keyboard. What's we got in here? Oh, we got a whole shitload of shit. Okay. So, the next thing I pulled out, chat pause due to scroll. Oh, weird. Okay, so the next thing I pulled out, one of the next things was the USB-C card reader. So, this thing has it's it's like a words English. It's like a USB stick. So you open it up like if this had a cover. Some of these have covers, but this one doesn't. It's like that, but you actually place the um, SD card, the micro SD card, in this. So we're gonna get to that, and then we have the fan. The tiny little fan. Like my tiny little fans. Anyways, um, so register your CanaKit and get a free Zojo license, $49. I don't. That is. But we'll have to do it at some point. Okay, so getting started. Congratulations on your purchase of from CanaKit. Welcome to the exciting world of Raspberry Pi. To set up your new Raspberry Pi, you will typically need the following items. Micro SD card preloaded with noobs, recommended. A 3A USB-C power adapter, have it. Micro HDMI cable, have it. Monitor, TV, HDMI output, yep. Keyboard or mouse. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. This keyboard and mouse. Keyboard. So I have to unplug my current keyboard and mouse, which I don't know how bad that's gonna screw everything. Optional case. Yep. Updates. Okay, I don't care about that. 2, 3. Have a case. Start by installing the Raspberry Pi inside the case. To avoid damaging your micro SD card, do not insert the card in until the board is installed in the case. Okay. Alright, so up. That was too easy. iCamera. Look at this. Does it just pop out? Okay, well, it fully comes apart. So this is the top, comes out. This is where the fan goes. Okay, so we're gonna put this. Oh, I don't. Great to open it. It's so tiny and delicate. Cute. Okay, don't grab anything but. Oh, there's instructions. Lots of instructions. Okay. Alright, so I assume. Okay, so this is the Pi itself. This is extremely tiny, extremely delicate. So I assume that's the bottom. Does it just sit in there? Alright. Main. Okay, so on the bottom of the case itself tells you where to place everything. And in fact, it does just sit in there. There's no screw holes. Nothing. It just sits in there as so. There's little lips. Little lips on the ends here that it will slide into and make sure your ports are facing out. I believe this is wireless capability as well, so that's good. That makes me excited a bit. So, it's in the case. We're going to install this fan here, which there is. We'll also need, in case, connect the red and black wires to the GPIO head pins. Okay, so the GPIO head pins, let's get this open here. Aha! So in the book, it does have instructions, clear instructions, on how to actually make sure this fan is working. I assume that going into this, the Cana kit, is it going? I am assuming that the fan, because the fan didn't really come with instructions either. So I assume that the fan is placed in as so, which it just literally no. Let's not do that. Now I can't get it out. Well. Alright. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm trying to this. That makes more sense for that to be facing the writing to be facing down. It doesn't say like this side up or anything. Alright, so according to the instructions, the red pin is on number 4. Select that. very, very delicately. And the black one, just like that to ground it. Don't want to bend these pins either. Oh, okay. On there. Okay, so now we have the fan connected to I. So, yep. Okay, so shit, I should have done this different. Alright, so now I have to disconnect the pins real quick. 'Cause I'm an idiot. Alright, DSI display connector. I don't have display or camera connector. So, also on this has more I/O connectors. One here and one there. One does the camera and one does a LCD display. So, in actuality, I have to put this on first, this cover. That's still very light. There is not much to this. Micro SD goes into there. Why is there a USB-C for that? I don't understand that. Oh, okay. So this is used only if you need to reload noobs again. So I'll keep that off to the side. All right, let's connect pins again. So one. There's two on there. Okay, then oh yeah, the heat sinks. They should probably go on this too. Damn it. I haven't built a computer type anything computer like based long time. So please forgive me this. I tear this apart again. Cause I'm a dope. Alright. Let's do that. Okay, so I didn't actually need to undo the pins that time either, which is great. So I don't want to undo them. Alright, so we've got our heat sinks here. I probably will need them. I'm not going to run them without them because I plan on running all the emulations. Not all of them, but the mass majority of them. Okay, so we're going to open up the heat sinks here. Bad boys out. Dump them out. Get out of the bag. Get out of the bag. Out of the bag. Come on. Get out of the... As I'm wrestling with the bag. Alright, so... That. And I assume... Assuming I go... Yes, it all makes sense because the size of them comparable. So on the Pi itself, let's move stuff around. So the size of the heat sinks are comparable to what they're actually needed to go on. So this big one is going to go on quad core processor. It's crazy, little quad core processor in this thing. Got 8 gigs of RAM too, built-in 8 gigs of RAM. That's just insane to think about how far technology's actually come in a very short amount of time that we have. I mean, our cell phones, our computers, yes, but to have something like this that you can actually like do programming on, because you can. A lot of people use Raspberry Pi to run basic programs. Use Java, C++, a whole shitload of. So it's a good learning tool as well, and I can't get this freaking material off. All I need is the blue part off of this, so I can stick it. But the blue part is sticking to the adhesive, which I get it. Nick says I'm a nerd. Yes, I am very much a nerd. Thank you, Nick. Almost. Okay. Come on. Oh, it's gonna be horrendous on the. Oh, I got it. I got it. I did it. Okay. Now let's get this on processor without fucking it up. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. Slide it over. Slide it over. On. Alright. So it's on there. Very sticky adhesive. I kind of wish it was compound, but yeah, I don't think it's needed unless you really overclock all the time. But even then, I don't think it's needed. So, all right, we're gonna get the second one on there. This one. What do you plan on? What do you plan on running on it? Also, oh yes, I'm sorry. Aha, ah. As I said, this is my first unboxing video, so trying to find a good place for the webcam. So I plan on running RetroPie and RetroArch with. Why is that so? Okay, so I plan on using RetroPie with RetroArch and running emulation software from Atari all the way to possibly Dreamcast. Because these Raspberry Pi 4s can now actually emulate fairly well PS2. So, um, it has to deal with a new processor, also has to deal with the same amount of RAM that's in them now. Um, and honestly, 150 bucks for a micro computer, yeah, it's not bad, bad at all. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. I am now working on it. See me in all my glory, fatness, and my hands. I should have probably got like tweezers or some shit, because this is shit. Nope, don't stick to the board. Don't stick to the board. Thank you. Nope, nope, no. Stop that. As I said, it's very delicate. Okay, so heatsink, still not focusing. Oh, that maybe? That better? I hope that's better. Okay, so that heatsink's on. It's kind of crooked. Auto. Is he yelling? So this is the next heatsink. It's super tiny. And it goes not on the smallest spot, but like right there. So yeah, this is it's gonna be interesting to say the least. I hope this adhesive actually comes off fairly easy. Oh, it did. Wow. The smallest one and it comes off the easiest. Huh. Of course, because why not make life difficult and have the bigger ones, which have way more thumb room? Does it go there or on the other one? Hold up. To the book. Good. The book doesn't tell me about the heat sinks. That's amazing. Alright. What's this little book? Oh, it's an unfoldable book. But I can't set this down. Well, I'm you're going to guess. I can't even remember that. So I assume. Ugh. Ah, crap. Oh, crap. That makes sense, that it would go on the smallest one. Right there. Alright, so. Heat sinks are in. Now. It's back on. Again, it just sits in there, as so. Just, it clips. There's no screws, nothing. It's just how it sits. Okay, and this, make sure the wiring harness, not wiring harness, but the wiring itself is actually in there. And just like that. Tweezers, yes. Just like that. Raspberry Raspberry Pi is together. Also, it has. Oh, okay. So let me bring this back up. See my lovely face. Okay, so. Alright, so that's good. Let's throw all this trash inside the box that it came in. Because I don't need it no more. Also, second HDMI cable. This is going to become handy because of the next part of this video. So, as I said, the wife bought me this for my birthday. However, as a gift to myself, I did something else. Something that I hope works fine. Just undo these. I'm going to save one of these so I can actually put the wiring together. Because these cables are long. Can't even stretch them. It's probably like 6 feet. I think they're 6-foot cables. That makes sense. So, yeah, there's that. So I'm going to need that. And I have the perfect spot for this to sit. As long as I can still get to power, which is right here. Okay. Got the power. Did it. Alright, so. Micro SD. Ensure you connect the micro HDMI cable to the main port. Do not insert the SD card until after the board has successfully assembled in the case. Alright, it's successfully assembled in the case. Alright, so. USB-C power. Okay. That. Ooh, it clicks. Sorry, that's just exciting that it actually just doesn't like set itself in there. It's USB-C and it functions to click in. Good. Start guide. I should probably just keep that round in here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. HDMI power. Micro HDMI. Okay, so this first micro HDMI, which I gotta way back here, because I don't actually need it to my desk anymore, because I really don't have the room. Alright, so. Don't mind my lack of cable management here. But this is what we're gonna do. Run the cord. Ah. There's the Pi itself. It's very dark. I apologize. Let me fix that. Do, do. Flashlight. 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 Ah. Okay, so. Dave. Okay, so what we're gonna. So we plugged in the USB power right here. That's the very end one is USB. Mouse cable is in the way. The mouse cable is also plugged into my keyboard, which is amazing. So we have that, and then this is the HDMI 1. It needs to go into HDMI 1, port nearest the USB-C. 0. No, HDMI 0. Sorry. And it only goes in one way. That's what she said. Okay. Click. On. Oh, that is a very extremely snug fit. Like there's no wiggle. Okay, so is that the next cable. Okay, so this is where the next unboxing part. So, not only did I get Canon Kit by 4, I also got boxes go down. A package from Prime. Come on. Yeah. Reach my back here. Yeah. What was that? Oh. Ha. Okay. Enough of that shit. So we've also got my beard's not doing anything good tonight. That's okay. Alright, so this is an HDMI video capture. So it's from Mavis Link. It supports max resolution of 4K, input max of 4, outputs up to 1080p. It supports 8, 10, 12-bit deep color. Supports AWG26 HDMI standard cable. Input up to 15 meters, 1080p or below resolution. Supports most acquisition software such as VLC, OBS, whatever. Supports Windows, Android, Mac OS. Conform USB video and USB standard. Conform to USB video 1.5 and 1.0 standard. USB audio UAC standard. Without external power supply, compact, and portable. So, this bad boy is going to be the cream crop of why I initially wanted the Raspberry Pi in the first place. So, again, tiny box. What is this? Oh, it's a USB extender. Fantastic. Okay, so stick this out. Connect the UHD signal source to the HDMI video input on the video capture with one HDMI cable. Connect the computer to USB port. Yeah, set operation setup with OBS. I already know how to do that. I've ran capture devices before on OBS, even with Studio. So back when I actually had the Elgato. So let's bring the camera back down here. Minute. Okay, so we're gonna set it right there. I'm gonna unpackage this quick. Oh, as I drop. Yeah, that's fucking fantastic. All right. Good thing it's durable. So this is the actual capture device. You can see how big it actually is. So the input is going to come from this other cable. It's the input's actually going to come from the other HDMI, mini HDMI out. So let's get this set up real quick. So this one. This cable is extremely heavy, FYI. The micro HDMI to HDMI is extremely heavy. So we're going to do that as so. We're going to run the rest of this HDMI cord down and behind my desk. As my camera does all funky stuff. Come on. Why is my camera doing that? Oh, it's caught on the wire. Alright, so come and run this down and behind. Okay, so that's now set up behind, just like I want. See, the cables are mostly behind. They come out. Good. Okay, so now, a little unorthodox boxing video, but unboxing video. So now I have the other end. It's ran underneath. So now to connect. That's it right there. Okay, so now we're going to connect this to the other end of this. So now we've got that plugged into the video capture. So the downfall to this video capture, it's extremely cheap. It's only 25 or 20 bucks, something like that. But let me shut off the camera. Flashlight, okay. So the only issue with this is so the issue is not that it's extremely expensive. The issue is only USB 2.0. So that prohibits it, or it has it has limitations. It can only capture 1080p at 30 frames per second. But you can kind of fake that with live stream. Like right now, my live stream is at 60 frames per second. The output will be from the Pi going through this into OBS at 30 frames per second. But as I said, I can fake that by software. So bizarre. Okay, so we're gonna plug this into here as so. Select that. And I'm gonna connect it to an available port down here somewhere. You know what? Let's put in my USB 3.0 up top. See how it likes that. Just trying to. Oh, it sees it instantly. Sweet. So now that that's done, let's put you back here. We're gonna plug in our micro USB, micro chip. Maybe. Scissors? Do I know scissors up here? Damn it. Okay, hold on. Ah! Don't do that at home. Your teeth. opening L package. This is the chip. Super tiny. Okay, so now we're going to put this into the Pi. So, what to play first? Well, first I have to library. It's only going to assume. That'll be in. Alright, so now, moment of truth. Let's turn this bad boy on. Feel the fan. Okay, so let's try this. I'm gonna reminds me real. Add a source. Capture. Source. I want game cap. Add source. Nope. That's not what. Video capture device. Add a new source instead. USB video. Okay, well. Let me switch. Let me switch my display real quick. HDMI. Ah. Alright, so Raspberry Pi 4. I need to plug the keyboard and the mouse to it, so don't mind the bright colored screen. It's out. God. Hold on just a second. Ow. USB mouse and keyboard. Okay. Oh, that's a tight fit. Okay, so let me there's gotta be a better way to do this. Why is this not showing up your guys' end? What I'm wondering. Okay, so let me bring the camera around real. So kind of bright. Wish there was a better way to do this. Wonder why it's not seeing display. And of course I have my camera. All right, let me get this set up real quick. So do this the best we can. So this is the Pi 32-bit Raspberry Pi 4. Install English S Wi-Fi networks. Enter my Wi-Fi password real quick. Setting my Wi-Fi up. Check your password. Good. Is that not it? That one. Good. Okay. That is the password. So, because I updated, sorry for the turn down the contrast a bit. This will help. I say remote. Okay, so this is allowing, because I connected to the internet, this is actually allowing me to download a whole bunch of stuff. So it can download Raspberry Pi full OS, which is what I want. The Lite, the OS, or a port of Debian with the Raspberry desktop, data partition, adds an MD512, data partition, RISC OS, which is a very fast compact system. UI, LACA, probably want LACA. Self retro emulation console. Alright, so install. Yes. Okay, so gonna install that. This thing's gonna take a little bit. So once it's installed, I think I can then configure the second screen so that it doesn't show up as the colors that you guys see now. I hope. So this is writing bytes per second. It has 5 gigs to download. It's talking about the Raspberry operating system. So it's a Raspberry operating system based on Debian Linux is now being installed on your Raspberry Pi. So it's Linux based, which is good. The Raspberry desktop works just like conventional PC. Applications are launched by clicking the menu left button, top left. So, like Mac, like an off-brand of Mac, not off-brand, offshoot of Mac. Scratch is a graphical language design. Is a graphical language designed to teach basic programming to young children and beginners. Oh, so it has basically a tiny version of C++ built in. That's cool. Sonic Pi is a programming language which allows you to compose and perform music. That's interesting. I'm kind of excited to see how this works because I wish the second screen was there. Like, so it's allowing my mouse. Let's go. Uh-oh. Let's go. Okay, the mouse is right there. Okay, I thought it was allowing my mouse to move further, but it's not. So as I said, it's still writing. that was my first unboxing. I'm actually very excited about that. I'm excited that it works straight out of the box. Um, it's a little packaging I get to throw away now. I am keeping the other box though, the Canon Kit box, because I like that. That's really cool. Technically, I can throw this bad boy, the capture device, in there. That way it's all together. Starter guide, the README, and the little package that SD card came in. So on top of the SD card, I'm going to be using my SanDisk. I believe the wife has the other one. Well, this is 16 gigs. This will be enough for whatever. No, I'm not real worried about it. I'm also going to be using this, my Xbox, wired Xbox One controller, to utilize the emulation software. I hope I don't need to unplug and plug my keyboard every time. I kind of wish I had a splitter to do that, but it's whatever. The fan is facing the right way, because I feel the heat, not heat, but I feel air out of the top of it. So that is right, the wording is supposed to be down. It's 35% installed. So let me up why you guys are seeing that real quick. Because there shouldn't be an issue with it. Did you just shit, cat? Really? Cat. Alright, I can't make the webcam bigger because my mouse is plugged into the wrong computer. So you guys have to do a little me for a sec. Alright. Raspberry Pi second HDMI display. Colors. Raspberry Pi dual monitors. One monitor working while plugged in HDMI 0. I have played with the tuning monitors quickly. That should work okay out of the box. If you boot the Pi with both monitors connected, then TV service SV2, display the ports. Okay, so once it's loaded, I have to go into the settings and allow the second screen to actually be the second screen. Says using the 2 gigabyte XC4 raspberries on one monitor connected to HDMI 0, and sometimes rainbow colors on the other monitor connected to HDMI 1. Monitor on the HDMI 0 hangs with a blank screen. When it goes into power saving, looks like it's hanging during boot. Alright, so I have to go into edit. Once it's loaded, it's 64% installed. Yeah, Z was I know Z was typing in chat wondering what it's a mini PC console to play retro games. Can even do a lot. Yes, it can do a lot of other things. This little too much. And so she said, this little box of joy is going to be a little box of joy. Um, Especially once I get the programs installed. Time is it? It's 9. Yes, that is what I was talking about. See, especially with the controller installed, I'll have to keep switching back between. I wish I had a USB switch because then I could plug my keyboard and my controller into the switch, keyboard mouse controller into the switch, and have one outgoing to the computer and one outgoing to the Pi. So, um, yeah, no, it's 77%. So I don't know. The read write is slow. I mean, it's a micro SD card. It says it's writing at 9.2 megabytes per second. Megabits, but megabytes. And it's already installed 4 gigs, 4.5 gigs. So it's getting there. Slow but surely. I don't know what surely though. So yeah, while we wait, guys that are watching, um, what are your thoughts on pie, or what do you guys know about pie? Besides the pie you can eat. Because I was hearing that at work today. Like I was telling my my staff, I was just like, yeah, I got getting a Raspberry Pi today. And one of them was like, brought pie? Where is it? Is it in the break room? Is it in your office? It's like, no, it's not the pie you can eat. Well, I mean, I guess you could eat it. You wouldn't want to eat that. Um, so uh, they were like, well, now I'm disappointed, and you disappointed me for the rest of the day. And this was when my shift started at 10 o'clock, and worked with this person until 6:30 tonight. So they were disappointed, and they let me know that too. Because come time we left, he was like, I'm still disappointed there was no pie. It's like, really? It's 8 hours ago. Get over it. So hopefully this up and running very, very shortly. 96%. Okay, come on. As I said, this was my first unboxing. I've never done anything like it. Sorry if the camera was a little shit. 5, what do you expect? 99%. 99%. 100%. Extracting. So it's also interesting, it's 32-bit. It's not 64-bit, which is what most operating systems are today, or 64. I don't know if that's going to affect the emulations at all. I hope not. Shouldn't. Extracting file system. Load, load, load. It's really crisp too. Like looking at it on the screen, putting the webcam does no justice. I want one that likes the idea but is unsure. So this specific version, the Canon kit, because you can get right on Amazon. I bought this on Amazon. So the Canon kit, well, Mandy bought it on Amazon, but same difference. There's a couple of different versions of this. So this is the extreme one. This is the highest one you can get right now. Comes with 128 gigabyte micro SD and 8 gigs of onboard. You can get one for I think $50, maybe $60. It only comes with 2 gigs of RAM, but it limits you. I wanted something that wasn't really going to limit me, and that I could push it a little bit and kind of overclock it, because there are overclock settings. Quite frankly. So, yeah, it's once it finishes downloading, it's still extracting. I tell you what, like, uh, in actuality, you can have one of these and not need a Genesis. It's a good backup. A SNES. Like, for example, I have the PS1 Classic, and I kind of wish I didn't buy it because it runs like the games that are on it. I bought it at Anime Boston 2019. Yes, 2019. Bought it at Anime Boston, and it was cheap because the vendor that was there selling it was selling it cheap. Brought it home, got it all set up, started playing games on it, and they ran poorly, extremely poor. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna hack it, which is very easy thing to do, and install RetroPie and AutoBleem on it. Ran some of the emulations on it, and it can't even really emulate prior to PS1 well. It was very cheap, very cheap. But yeah, I don't even have it hooked up. It's just sitting in my closet, legitly just sitting in my closet because it's disappointing. Now you can buy them for like $10, legitly. It's it's sad. They could have really done something well with that, but they cheaped out. They also chose PAL versions of the games, which don't run well, anyways, on Americanized consoles. So, couple things. Um, I have a USB hub. I probably should plug that in. Or if that will help. It's the can of kit, right? Let's unplug you. Didn't do anything. Good. Let's unplug you. Plug you in. Oh, on Xbox. I had a hard time typing this. I'm sure if it's not the sense of the console emulate. What else? What else I do with it? I'd love to see what they could do with the size. I'd love to see what they could do, but I want a good sized desktop before I. No, I get that. I completely get that, actually. So, um, downloading extracting file system, by the way. Like my desktop. Yeah, my desktop can emulate. I would have no issues. I could probably emulate. I could actually emulate PS3 right now with really no hiccups. Because our what is it? Our PS3 or our CPS3 something like that. Um, the developers have actually made it more. Uh, um, they've broken the code more, so a lot of games are now playable. A lot, but not really. There's a library of them. But yeah, it's interesting to see how far emulation has come. Like 10 years ago. Well, 10 years. 2010, running Windows Vista 7 ish, right around that, 7 or 10. Not 7 or 10. 7 or Vista Service Pack 2. That emulating like PS2 Dreamcast era games. Not wasn't really easy. It wasn't really uh, a viable thing to do. I mean, you could change the emulation settings to try to make it better, but it skip frames or music or whatnot. It would be all over the place. I mean, now it's as I said, it's just crazy. Now we're emulating PS3, which was the hardest console to write for in the history of video game consoles because it's a very unique console. Back to the cell processing. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, I think Vista was 2010 era. I had a Vista machine in 2008, so that was actually my first gamer I built. It had a Radeon, Radeon 5770 1 GB GDDR5 graphics card, and I also had the AMD Quad Core Black Edition. It was a beefy little thing that I used to play on a 32-inch HD TV, and I'd play WoW on it. I'd play WoW. I had Far Cry 2. Um, I had Bioshock, original Bioshock. I had Oblivion. Dad was using it, and I would be on it for watching anime. Yeah, it's still writing, by the way. It's down now. It's downloading and extracting Laka, uh, Laka Raspberry Pi 4, which is the emulation software. So, um, I had my likes and dislikes about Vista, specifically on the gaming side. It was not uh, not a well written operating system. I would rather use Windows ME back to Vista. Yeah, and I had Windows 8, like the flip and tile Windows 8. Yeah, no, I'd rather use Windows ME, and that was a broken piece of shit. I mean, Service Pack 2 fixed a lot of the hiccups, but it was just the point that they released that after having Windows XP, and that's why Windows XP was still viable until, oh my god, 2012. I think they stopped actual service, or 2013, something around that. I mean, an operating system from 2001, running 11 years, 10 to 11 years, with full service. I mean, they knew it wasn't broken. People, we used it at work until like 4 years ago. Then we went to Windows 7, then 10 immediately. But yeah, no, I favorite operating system all time, Windows XP, and this is coming from Windows 98 SE, which did wonders for Windows. Windows 7 just stopped beginning of this year. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because we recently switched to 10 at work less than a year ago. So, and that, like, I had to teach some people how to use Windows 10 at work because they're like, well, it's different. No, 7 and 10 are quite similar. Things moved around. 10's more user friendly. But yeah, uh, add to a no support. Yeah, no, no, the IT department over there, just like, yeah, no, we're switching everybody to Windows 10. Good luck. Here are some here are some learning classes you can take online on how to use your new operating system and not break it. That was the big thing, not break it. Because with that, we switched over to Office 365, which then we lost support with Visio and other Office programs. Two Office programs we were lost with that. But yeah, getting used to Office 365 from Office 15, I think we were using something. Yeah, that was a little bit of a hiccup for everybody, and it's not well, doesn't run well on there. Anyways, so still downloading Lacko. Um, it's not telling me on my screen how many like what the extraction size is. All it's telling me is it's running at 5.6 megabytes per second, but my bar is sitting at 100%. So yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, the Pi can do, according to this, it can do a lot. It's beginner. As a beginner, you can use it as C++, Java, Python. Um, like it's showing me a screen right now, and it's all Python, Python-based code. ID. ID 10T era, maybe PKAC, PKAC. I'm reading that as 88 era, maybe PEBCAC. What? I don't know. Unless you're just fucking with me. Yeah. A little tongue out with the fucking, As I said, I wish the second display would work. Problem exists between key chair. Fuck you. So, yes, I admit a lot of that happens at work because we have a lot of non computer literate people. But it's fun. Like it's not really a pain in the ass showing these guys how to actually do the work or work around the systems. Um, it makes it fun, I guess. Yeah, you laughing over there. I know you're laughing over there. See that? He freaking replied with the crying smile, like ah. Alright, so still downloading Laka. And now it's at 5 megabytes per second. I'm kind of glad the download didn't interrupt the actual bitrate on the stream, which is nice because normally when I'm downloading something and streaming, it doesn't like to talk with each other at all. So, okay. Please wait while the software is installed on your SD card. Maybe this will take a few minutes. Well, it's been, let's see, one, two, it's been more than a few minutes. But it's writing, I mean, it's around. It is actually doing something. So, that's a plus. I mean, it sucks that you guys are seeing that. You shouldn't be seeing that. And I can't really change anything because my mouse and keyboard are plugged into high. Unplug them real quick and see. Because while it's writing, oh, that's stuck in there. Damn. While it's writing, I shouldn't actually need it to need the mouse and keyboard. Because it's going to be a little bit while it writes anyways. Alright, now to plug these back in. The other thing is the keyboard that I have. Wires are thick. Super, super thick. So, sorry. And the keyboard uses two USB ports because the keyboard also, of course, the OS installs successfully as soon as I plug the other things back in. Alright, so here's the display capture device. Let's move this just screen. Okay, so there's that. Just select that. There we go. Alright, so OS installed successfully. Now let me unplug keyboard again. Let me go back in. Okay, OS installed successfully. Where's my mouse? There it is. Okay. Select OS to boot. Raspberry Pi. Okay, so now this should fix the issue not reading the second screen. Okay, Raspberry Pi is loading. Oh, it's pretty. Okay, so now get into the nitty gritty. System, graphics. What's that? Oh, it is. Yeah, it even has Bluetooth. That's fantastic. Image. Oh, it's opening on the second screen that doesn't exist. This window. This window. All right, let me unplug this real quick. All right. So it's funny because it's still seeing two displays. Completely seeing two displays. Stop preferences. Ah, okay. This is what I want. Show identical second. Okay, let's turn this back on. Okay, let me bring the keyboard and mouse back down. So this is infinite. Yes. What? Okay, now I have control of my computer. So I'm gonna device. Camera. Ah, yay! Okay, it works. Good. This is what I want you guys to see. Alright, so I don't stretch the screen. Okay. Kind of. Is it not showing? Weird. Okay, that's bizarre. So this is the default Raspberry Pi program. OS, I should say. Let's plug this back in. Lots of unplugging today. So this is the default Pi program. What we're gonna do. Oh, it does act as a second monitor. Nice. But so bunch of different backgrounds. Apparently, waterfall. Aha! Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. Okay. So, anyways, um, system. So fire results. Okay. Medium screens. Gotcha. All right. So show identical second one. Okay. Which is fine. All right. So now good. Um. So system files are 517 bytes. Storage. I have 51 gigs available. Why? That doesn't make sense. Unless. Okay, let me check. something. All right. Let's turn the. Good. Wow, I haven't seen that screen in a which one? Oh, that one? The black, the multicolored one? Boot loader. Okay. Interesting. All right, so that OS doesn't even work. That's good to know. So we're gonna boot back to Raspberry Pi itself. Okay. Okay, country. Attic? Chicago. See, I hadn't even been able to set up the actual settings. Password. Okay, it says setup screen. It says test desktop should fill the entire screen. Tick the box if your screen is a black border edges. Gonna connect to 5G. Because I want to download the fastest. No network connection found. Checking for. It's okay. Oh, it's in military time. That's cool. It's actually right on the military time too. Reading update list. So it's in the middle of up. That's some screen tearing. Good. It's not. Uh, it's not like the refresh rate. So. Says screen config. Okay, so it's also downloading. Okay, so this is what you guys are seeing. It's also downloading an update, so that should help. Screens, resolution. '60. '60. Okay, so they're showing. I don't know why it has a black border around it, because it shouldn't. Huh. Okay, so it's currently working on updates. So in the meantime, let's see how well this web browser works. So this is the web browser. It's built in. I don't get why this isn't mirroring settings. Oh, that sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Just can't add remove software. Wow, so there is a whole bunch of stuff. Waiting in queue. I don't care. Stops. So of a 128 gigabyte card, it's only telling me I have one that's available. I music pictures. Okay, so nothing's actually there under settings, but I want the operating system. Huh. I'll have to figure this out more because once it finishes its updates, it should be fine. Is there a control option? Ah, there is. Okay, so run on this update. Let's see. Software. Okay, so I have the OS, which is what you guys are seeing. I want retro. So yeah, this is what I'm actually downloading. You can also try it online. That's in a way. I mean, so draw. So RetroArch so runs as well as on game consoles. Oh, I didn't realize that. I know you can run it on the Switch, but I didn't realize you could run it on PS2, Vita. I have Flaka downloaded. Maybe. All right. Once this is updated, it's almost updated. We'll see if we can actually make it work. That's bizarre. This page two. Can I get the lockup? So let me show you guys real quick different. So tell you there's Java IDE, Genie's ID, Greenfoot Java ID, Mathematica, which is a technical system, MU, a Python editor for beginner programs, Node-RED, low-code program, event-driven applications, Scratch, Scratch 2, Scratch 3, SenseHat emulator. It's a GUI controlling emulated SenseHat. I don't know what that is exactly. Sonic Pi, learn programming science while creating music. Thonny Python IDE, and RAM. Technical program. Also, education has SmartSim, digital logic circuit design and simulation package. So, uh, I see them on Wish all the time. There's these kits you can buy that has all these logic boards and stuff, and you can utilize RetroPie, not utilize RetroPie, utilize the Raspberry Pi to control it and make all the programming for it. It's really neat. So, I'm cutting in and out. I wonder why I'm cutting in and out. Is that better? Maybe because where it's downloading? I don't know. So, it also has its own version of Office, LibreOffice, which has the basic stuff. Comes and goes. Weird. It could be from downloading updates. VLC player built in. That's kind of neat. Um, there's games. Boing. Bunner. Cavern. Minecraft Pi. There's Minecraft pre-installed on this. That's kind of cool. Wouldn't imagine playing Minecraft on this, but apparently you can. Maria Pod, Python games, and soccer. All right, it's downloading the updates. I wonder once the update comes, I'm very interested to see how this actually works. Minecraft Pi, little tiny little thing. I didn't have any intentions of playing Minecraft tonight, but I wonder what version it is. That's the thing. Well, it's downloading the updates still. It's the bar is like doing one of these things. It's like eh, so uh it's also a terminal, which the terminal acts much like the terminal from Mac. It's all based around the same. File manager. Raspberry Pi configuration. Boot. Run line shell rather than desktop. Display. Screen blanking. That is. Interface. Camera. Don't have to worry about any of that. Serial port. Performance. You can overclock it from here. Overclock not available. Or why? Because you should be able to over. Commence software. Oh boy, maybe I shouldn't do all that. Because now it's just kind of sitting there. Still downloading the updates too. Okay, so while that's doing that, screen config. Okay, so this is what it's doing. Just FYI. It's trying to work on two different things at once. It's not handling the multitasking extremely well. I mean, it's a quad core. Expected to touch. So, hmm. Oh, now it's installing the updates. There we go. Now that it's actually had time to download the updates, it's installing the updates. So let me, oh, well, you guys will be able to see this. But it actually looks pretty nice. Kind of bright, but it looks pretty nice on the screen. Black border, I don't get if that's just part of the OS. Ah. So, while I mess with this, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing plus a little extra video. I hope to have this up and running with the emulators and stuff very soon. So, plug my keyboard mouse back in quick so I can actually do this. Some Rocket League. Yeah, I could do that. Let me switch out the streams real quick. Alright, so you guys have a great night. Nice Rocket League.